everyone that's joining in. We're just going to wait a few more minutes to let the rest of the attendees come in, and then we'll get things underway.
I will introduce ourselves when we start properly, but we're from BPP University to talk to you about commercial awareness. So hopefully you're in the right place.
That's always a good start, Charlotte, isn't it?
Okay, just going to give it a few more seconds. Welcome to everyone that's joining in just now. We're about to get started in very shortly. Okay, I think we can go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this masterclass on top tips for developing your commercial awareness with BPP University Law School. This is our third masterclass with BPP this year, and you can check out the previous two on our YouTube channel. This session will be a bit more interactive, as you'll get to be split into breakout rooms and work on an assessment center style activity, which is a really exciting opportunity to put theory into practice. So to fully engage in this interactive session, please ensure your microphone and camera are ready to go when the time comes. So we always start a masterclass with a learning outcome. So by the end of this masterclass, you should understand what commercial awareness is, know how to develop your commercial awareness, and also feel more confident to approach commercial awareness tasks. Before I hand over to Charlotte and Hilary from BPP, I'm just going to quickly go over some key points. Firstly, please use the online question tool to post any questions that you have, and I'll be posing them to our speakers at the end if we have time. Please note this masterclass will be recorded. The recording of the session will be sent to all registrants after the session, and it will be available on our YouTube channel very shortly as well. We also have some fantastic events coming up over this term, so please check out the Law Careers Net events page. We're hosting a series of boot camps over the next 2 months. There's a specific boot camp for second and third year law students, which is on the 24th of April. In this boot camp, you'll learn all about how to research law firms and make law firm applications, and you'll also have the opportunity to network directly with top law firms. And then the other two boot camps are for first year students and non-law students. So make sure you register for the one that matches your current stage. The links to register for the boot camps will be sent to you in the follow-up email alongside the recording of today's session. You can also check out all our upcoming events, including the boot camps I just mentioned, on Law Careers Net's events page. Okay, so I'm just going to start off by asking all attendees to answer the question on the screen so our panelists can get an idea of who's joining us today. I'm just going to share these results. It seems like we've got quite a lot of non-law and postgraduate students, and also people in work, and a few second and first year law students. Thank you for that. I think this will help our panelists today understand what stage you're at. And just quickly, let's find out about your concerns in relation to commercial awareness. So please also answer this poll on your screen right now as well. So what are your concerns about commercial awareness? Is it understanding what it really is? Is it knowing how to develop it, or knowing how to demonstrate it in applications, or something else? So again, I'm just going to give you a few more seconds to submit your answers in. So thank you for everyone that has submitted. Seems a lot of you are worried about how to demonstrate commercial awareness in your applications, which is something I think will definitely be addressed in this session. So please don't worry. With that out of the way, I think I'll gladly hand over to Hilary and Charlotte from BPP.
Thank you, Dimitar, and that was really helpful to get an idea who the audience is and what your key concerns are. So we will cover that. As we said, as Dimitar said, this is a workshop. It is going to be interactive on how to demonstrate your commercial awareness. So I guess you need to know who we are. My name is Charlotte Wanendeya, and I am Head of Law at BPP Law School in Holborn in the London Central Centre. That's where we teach our want-to-be solicitors and also want-to-be barristers. Over to you, Hilary.
Thank you. So my name is Hilary Chadwick, and I'm Head of Law at BPP Centre in Waterloo, also known as London South. And that's where we teach our converters, so the law conversion course, and also our legal apprentices.
Super. Right, let me move on to the next slide, which hopefully you can all see. what we are
Yep.
going to cover today. I'm just going to get this all up. In a moment, and get ready, fingers on keyboards, we're going to ask you, so you can start thinking about it, what you think commercial awareness is. We saw from the poll that a few of you, totally understandable, were thinking, oh gosh, what even is commercial awareness? So just have a stab. It really doesn't matter what you say, but what you think commercial awareness is, and pop it in the chat. So the one that says chat as opposed to Q&A. In fact, all the questions that Hilary and I ask you, please could you answer via the chat, because we can see that ourselves immediately. So what we're going to do really today is introduce you to some really useful models which will help you analyze a business, a commercial proposal, or a business situation. And then we'll try and apply these models to a practice-based situation. And it'll be very much an activity you might be asked to participate in, drumroll, at an assessment centre experience. So this is really valuable this next hour. We will finish at 5 o'clock. And then at the end, you'll be pleased to know we're going to leave you some tips on how you might demonstrate commercial awareness in the recruitment process and give you some tips about how to demo the skills further. So I don't know if you can see, Hilary, anything in the chat yet. Somebody has. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So that leads us on to the next slide, doesn't it, Charlotte? So
which you're prompting me to put it on, which I will do. I'm just taking these chats in as well, what people are posting. So I'm not going to click it because you probably want to look at what the students are saying.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Charlotte has put on the screen, what is commercial awareness? And thank you very much to everybody who is contributing to the chat. I'm going to have to put my glasses on for that. Understanding
great answers.
Yeah, there are some really great answers. I'll pick out a few. So understanding the context which understanding the context which deals, problems and businesses operate in, understanding the law firm as a business, absolutely. Understanding how businesses operate, market trends, etc. Understanding business pattern trends, etc., and how they affect firms. So this is really good stuff, isn't it, Charlotte? So shall we see what the definition is from Christopher Stokes? So we have Christopher Stokes is a former city partner who has written extensively about law, the city, and commercial awareness. And the definition that he suggests, and as I say, your definitions are excellent too, but his definition is understanding the role that you play in your organization, who your clients and customers are and what matters to them, and how your role helps them. So, as very many of you have pointed out, the commercial is understanding what business is about, and awareness is understanding the purpose of your role. So I think that's a very encompassing definition. But as I say, thank you to all those who have contributed in the chat.
Okay, great. So let's introduce you on the second slide, and we will give you a copy of these slides at the end, or lawcareers.net will circulate a copy for you. We said we'd talk about some models. So the first model we're going to look at is, and you won't be strangers to this, you've probably heard of it, is something that we call the SWOT analysis. And we probably, in our jobs, even use it every day. So what you see here are two things in the blue boxes: internal and external factors. So internal to the business and external. And then you can see us arrows going round. We've got SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And this is a well-known tool that's used. It's really useful to help you make sense of a commercial or business situation. It's a great tool to use in assessment centre experience as well. For example, if you're asked to research a potential client and report back to the business development department of the firm, or it could be, let's think of a question: why should I buy shares in, I don't know, ABC Limited or ABC PLC? Something like that. So bear that question in mind. So we would just start with strengths and then go on to weaknesses. Those are the internal factors, the strengths and the weaknesses. In other words, I'm going to call that looking in, internal, look in. And I would be thinking, well, how does that impact the company's decision making? Looking in things like what is the company good at? What are they famous for? How's the business structured? Where's it located? Where are the customers? What are the key drivers of success? Processes, IT, marketing strategies, and so on. And I guess what could they do better as well? So those are the internal factors. And the idea is that for a business or a commercial entity to succeed or improve, the weaknesses, you need to identify what you can action so that the weaknesses, you're going to convert them into strengths. That's the key. So convert your weaknesses into strengths. Opportunities and threats, we describe those as external factors, so outside the control of the business. Generally, the model which it's best to look at for those external factors, we're going to look at in a second, that's known as PESTLE. So when we're looking at external factors, we're thinking about looking out. Does the story indicate any wider external shifts and so on? And then if I were you, I'd be thinking, well, what's the law firm's role? That's the third question for me. What's the law firm's role? So external factors, a good model, and I'll hand over to Hilary, is the PESTLE analysis.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Charlotte. So as Charlotte said, these are the external factors that will impact the business. So there they are on the screen, and I imagine a lot of people are familiar with this model, of this PESTLE model. So political, if there is a change in government, and we've seen that last year there was huge political change all around the world, which is having a significant impact on businesses, not least law firms as well. Economic, so change in the economy. There's been a huge announcement by Rachel Reeves today. So that's something that law firms and their clients need to keep an eye on. Any social changes, so changes in behavior. So the move from shopping in a place to shopping online, that's been a significant change, accelerated by COVID. Then we have technical advances, AI, what a significant impact that is having on the world of work. Then any changes in the law, so that legal may be a factor. And then environmental. So with net zero, the whole environmental agenda has radically changed over the last decade or so, and will continue to do so. Thank you. I just have a quick sip of water, Charlotte.
Yes, you can hear that's needed. So what we're doing for our external factors on the SWOT analysis is then diving deeper and looking at what Hilary's just described, the PESTLE model, which is really, really super helpful to help you with your SWOT analysis. Right, let's get down to a little mini exercise first of all, before our bigger one. So look at this. Here is, we're going to try and apply the SWOT analysis to a business in a legal context. And that legal context is going to be price prior, LLP, so a law firm. Okay, we're going to do a SWOT analysis of price prior based on the outline of the firm summarized in the bullet points on the left. And I'll read through those in a moment. And as I'm reading through them, what I want you to be thinking of, and just fire away in the chat box, anything for SWOT. So you could pick a strength, and so just put S : whatever you think a strength is of price prior. You could do a W, what you think a weakness is. You could do an O, what you think an opportunity is. Remember, we're trying to convert our weaknesses into strengths and our threats into opportunities. That's the idea here. Or T, threat. So as I'm talking you through it, I can see some of you are already going for it. That's brilliant. So look at this. We can see Price Prior, this law firm, was founded in 1924. It has about 100 partners. Well, it has 100 partners. The average age of the partners is 57. You might think that's old. 12 female partners out of the 57. 8 partners with a range of ethnicities, including Black and Asian solicitors. No comment. Practice areas, you can see it's a traditional, what's called full service law firm. Where are their offices? Okay, they're in 8 big city locations in the UK, UK only, including London. Computer system, it's 7 years old. Client base, established corporates and high net worth clients. 1 to 3 partner, fee earner ratio, and fees mostly charged an hourly rate. I don't expect you to deal with everything, but Mehmet, thank you very much. You've had a good go there. Partners and office as strengths. Yeah, officers as strengths. Weakness, lack of diversity. I agree with you, indeed. And we've got Torella, weakness. It's
the computer. The computer's 7 years old, so the computer system is lack of innovation.
As Ben says, as well. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. Keep your ideas flowing in. Just have a think about this. And don't forget, this is exactly the sort of thing you'll be asked to do if you go to an assessment centre experience. So it's really good to have a go at it. SWOT, and then digging deeper into the externals by sort of going through the pestle factors. They won't all be involved, but some of them might be the pestle factors that Hilary took you through. And then we can have a regroup. And you're all coming up with super sensible things.
Yeah, absolutely. Full service law, yeah. Okay. Some good answers, aren't there, Charlotte?
There are. Okay. Whilst they continue to come in, tell you what, Hilary, let's populate this. I'm going to ask you, Hilary, first of all about strengths. What would you, and I'm not saying you and my answers are the be all and end all, but what would you say are key strengths?
Well, I think one of the key strengths is the branch network, the offices in 8 big city centre locations. I think that's certainly a strength because they've got breadth across the country, and the fact that they were founded in 1924, so 101 years ago. I think they've got an established brand with a long history of providing legal services. So they will have an established client base, I would suggest, which is a strength for a firm of this nature. Charlotte, what would you say are the weaknesses?
I agree with what the students have said. So I think the diversity is an issue. So that's the first one that jumps out at me, the diversity, both in terms of ethnicity and, as Alicia's just said, gender diversity, Megan as well, 12 female partners. So that's an issue for me. Succession is an issue, therefore I'd wrap that up together. The practice area as well, maybe that could be widened out. So those would be my key ones. So succession, diversity issues, high cost base, traditional practice areas. Yeah. And everything our students have said, they're really hitting the nail on the head here. What about opportunities, Hilary, or threats, first of all?
Threats, yeah.
Yeah, let's go with threats first.
A lot of people are going weaknesses in the computer system as well. But as for threats, I mean, this is, very much looking outwards. What are the threats to this business? And certainly, one of the things that is still impacting businesses is the sort of, the impact that the COVID situation has had on businesses.
Is that
Similarly,
because of the premises and people hybrid working, not coming in?
yeah,
They need less office
absolutely.
space. Yeah.
Yeah, which we'll be coming on to when we have a look at our do they need to be in these big city locations across the UK, including London? Do they still need to be there? Are there, as Amanda has put in, cost efficiencies? Are there savings that can be made there? Again, the country is still feeling the impact of Brexit as well. I know it's a long time ago, but I think people are still feeling that the economy, as we know,
Well, because it hasn't been sorted out.
exactly. Yes, the economy is a significant problem at the moment. And I think also cybersecurity, that really is a threat to all businesses. I mean, Charlotte and I were in a meeting earlier on today that was talking about this. It is a threat to all businesses. So certainly, those are what I would say are threats. So some of the
Fantastic.
external factors. And what about the opportunities, Charlotte? What do you want to say about
I
that?
guess it's what the students are saying. So I need to try and, we need to think about how we convert what you've highlighted, those threats. We need to turn those into opportunities. So we said from the COVID, and I think it was Amanda who said the premises, that could be an opportunity. So we could do something with that, relocating, maybe home working, really take a deep dive and look into that. Everybody, I think, has talked about the old computer systems. Is this an opportunity for legal tech, which, as you mentioned as well when you did your pestle explanation? Surely we need to see that as an opportunity at 7 years old. Come on, guys, let's make that one of our priorities. People have talked about the traditional practice areas, so I would say maybe it's high time to look at new practice areas, which could bring in fresh blood in terms of new people to come into the practice, solicitors coming in, and then having our eye on making up new partners and making sure that's more diverse as well. So they're just a few of the ones that I've quickly written down to add to the slide here. So legal tech, rebranding, new practice areas, relocating, home working. So I think we need to say thank you so much to our audience. You've been terrific. That's excellent. You've got it. And if you do that in an assessment centre experience, you'll be doing great. Right. Let's have some fun, I would say. So Hilary, take a moment to explain what we're going to do.
Yes. So we're now going to.
Is this the right slide?
It absolutely is the right slide.
Yeah.
You've just gone back.
Sorry. Yeah,
it's all right.
It's correct now. Yeah.
Right, we've got it. Yeah. So we're going to get involved in a commercial negotiation as Price Prior have decided that they want to downsize. They need to downsize for the reasons that we've been talking about just before. And so what the exercise we're going to do it's all about making sense of the commercial situation and applying some common sense to the problem, which we're seeing in the chat, aren't we, Charlotte? So by way of scene setting, Price Prior's 10-year lease is due to expire in 6 months' time. And shortly, you're going to be divided into two groups. Half of you are going to be acting for the representatives of Price Prior, and the other half are going to be representing the landlord. So we're going to lawcareers.net have created two breakout rooms, one for the landlord's team and one for the tenants team. And as groups, you're going to spend about 10 minutes going through the brief. And then at the end of 10 minutes, we're going to come back and negotiate the terms of a new lease. But there are three things, as it says on the slide. We're going to be focusing on three things that we're going to be negotiating: the length of the new lease. The existing lease is currently 10 years long. The amount or the number of floors of the premises that are going to be let. Currently, Price Prior have occupy floors 10, 11 and 12, but as we know, they want to downsize. And also whether there's going to be any rent-free period. Now, this is far more common at the start of a landlord-tenant relationship rather than at the point of renewal of a lease. However, because of economic factors and the fact of hybrid working, it may be that there has to be some financial incentive to carry on with this arrangement between Price Prior and the landlord. So I make it now 16.
Hold on. I just want to recap on some of that because I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's worth repeating. So what we're going to do, what is this right, Hilary?
Yeah.
Is we're going to, or lawcareers.net are going to magically press a button, and half of you will go with Hilary into the landlord's room, and half of you will be with me in the tenants' room. So the tenants are price prior. Not sure what the landlord's called, but never mind. You'll find that out. You will spend 10 minutes in your groups. Is this right? Strategizing what your arguments are going to be for those 3 points: term, premises, and rent-free period. Then we will all come back into this room, and you need to have picked, say, 2 people to act for the landlord, i.e. we need 2 volunteers, and I'm going to pick 2 people who are going to act for the tenants to do a live negotiation. It's nothing scary. It's just talking through what you think would be suitable for your clients. That is all it is. So we do really need a couple of volunteers from each. Is everybody clear? Maybe we give them a minute to say in the chat if they've understood that. But the instructions, private instructions, will be in the landlord room for the landlord, and the private instructions will be in the tenants room as well.
For the tenants,
so we've got no questions coming through. Let's just give it 30 seconds, check they're all okay. And if you are all okay, Ellie is going to ping us into the room, and we will come back to this one. Should we say at 40?
Yeah, 1640.
Nice and neat. Okay, so Alicia, let's do this. What does the tenant say about the term, ideally, if you type it in the chat box? And landlords, if you do the same, how long you think the term should be, please?
Yeah, so Alicia said we would like a 5-year term, please. So somebody from the landlord, if you could just type it in.
Anyone?
Anyone. I have no access.
Let's just stop talking so they can do it, so they realise that this is the exercise. So somebody from the landlord's room, were they able to get in the room?
Dimitar said that they could. Yeah, they were in the room, and he could see that they were sort of typing to one another.
So it's not rocket science. We need to know what the landlord would like the term to be.
10 years.
Okay, so we've got 5 versus 10. Can we have a consensus? Can we try and...
Can we bargain? Yeah, good point. Mehmet, sorry, not happening, mate. Well...
Okay, good, Mehmet. Hold your ground. We need to give a reason why we might go up to 7. If we'd be prepared to go for 7.
Yeah, Alicia, what's the least number of years you can do? Come on, landlords. Realistically.
Good, Alicia. The market conditions are not certain. Woo, Monish says at least 8 years. Is that really what your clients have said? Alicia, speeding it up, says, look, we'll go for 7 and it's a deal. Mehmet's still hoping for 5. He's for the tenants. Are we agreed on 7, everybody? Landlords, rather? Because it looks like our tenants will concede to 7. It's not a bad deal.
Yeah.
So,
such right.
Only if what,
only if what, yeah.
Only if what?
And this does happen in real life, doesn't
it?
Oh, well done.
Right, tenants, are we going to rent all 3 floors? Grace, what do we want on in terms of floors for the tenants? We've been renting 3 floors for flipping years, so we want to rent, says Grace, who's representing the tenants, to rent floor 11 and half, 12 and half of 11. How does that sounds reasonable to me, landlords?
No, I'm not sure about that. Landlords, come on. I don't think that's what your brief says.
Look, Deep Sea's come up with something good. We'll do 5 years for 1.5 floors with a rent-free period. You won't agree to anything less than 3. Well, we'll walk away then. Sorry, we're going to walk away because that just is not going to work. Look at the market conditions, and we have got another offer, says Mehmet. So I think landlords need to behave a bit. 8 years, and your offer of...
Offering 1.5 floors. Yeah.
Well, I
Oh,
think we could...
yeah.
Hold on. Monish, term can only be reduced if the tenant occupies all three. I think... Well, look, somebody in your group has said 8 years for 1.5 floors. What about, I think we wanted to say, didn't we? This is what we talked about in our room. 2 floors for 7 years. Can someone type that in? Yeah, Fizzer,
Yeah,
thank you. We could go up to 2.
2.
It would have to be 11 and 12, wouldn't it, Fizzer? And we'd be prepared for 7 years then.
What do we think about?
Quite a movement.
Yeah, no, I agree. But what do we think about 12? Are we prepared to concede on the 12? Yeah, 11 and 12, and we'll, that's Fizzer, yeah. And Grace, agree on floor 12 and floor 11 for 7 years. Yeah. Come on, landlords.
Sounds like we've got a deal, landlords. Oh, Sack, driving a hard bargain. Fizzer, what did we agree, or what did we want to say about rent-free? We have got another offer. You can see what Fizzer said, like a short-term rent-free period, ideally 3 months. We'd be willing to discuss it. Financial pressures faced by price prior during COVID. Look, it is our market. We've got another offer on the table. So I think landlords, you need to have a think about that.
Yeah, Sack says, Sack, I think you're from the landlords. You've got other offers.
Can we nail this agreement?
Yeah.
It's going to be unusable for 4 to 6 weeks. Thanks, Mehmet. Yeah, that's tenant. So why on earth would we pay all the rent? Okay, this is good. And you are all thinking, those of you who've contributed, along exactly the right lines. Yeah, thank you. You put in some really strong arguments. I know we'd all ideally like more time, but in an assessment centre experience environment, it is going to be just like this. It's high pressure. They're not asking for rocket science. It's just about coming up with some, not just saying, oh yeah, 7 years or 5 years. It's the reason for it, which what you've done, those of you who've contributed in the chat, you've done that really well. You've really given reasons. So let's take a look. Landlord wants as long as possible. 10 years as a starting point, would go as low as 5. Okay, Sack. If the other terms are agreed.
Are you going to share the screen?
I am. Am I not?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry,
I thought I was. No. Thank you for...
Okay.
Right, let's go back in here. We're in. Sorry, we've got to just whiz through this now. Let me just... I think I can press X. Tell me if they're still there. Am I sharing?
They've not come through yet. They've not come through yet.
Slideshow. I've pressed it.
Yes, I think we may be in business in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, it's here. It's on the slide now. We've got it.
All right. We can see it. So we know the landlord wants as long as possible, but look, 10 years as the starting point. We'll go as low as 5 if the other terms are okay. Good. Thank you, Megan. You can see it. What we're saying, tenants, is ideally 5 years, but we would go to 7, and I think we agreed on 7. So that's our deal. But I take Sack's point, it's got to be a whole deal that works, and that's the point we put there if the other terms are okay. So premises, landlord, Hilary, what do you want?
Yeah, we want 3 floors, obviously. Ideally, but we will concede 2 floors, but that would be better if it was 10 and 11, because we know that 12 is attractive if we're going to rent it out as a single floor, but we'll go for 1.5 floors if it's 10 and 11, but prefer not to. And I kind of think we got to there, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think we did.
I think we did, yeah. So just to be clear, from the tenant's point of view, ideally we want 1.5 floors only. We started off harder and said we'd take 12 and half of 11. So we've already come down here saying we would take half of 10 and all of 11. We'll go to 2 floors if needed. If it's 2, we'd prefer 11 and 12. So I think you've got to take your pick, landlord. It's either 1.5 floors of half of 11 and the whole of 12, or it's 2 floors and therefore we accept 10 and 11. It's one of those two. And then rent-free, what did you want?
We wanted a maximum of 30% reduction, but only for the first 3 months of the new lease.
That's not bad. We're happy to.
Yeah.
I think we agreed that too. So it was Mehmet who said 4 to 6 weeks to cover the reconfiguration. So you can see this is kind of what we're going to leave you with, that we could have got there. And I think that our people who contributed to the chat made that really clear. You did a really good job. I'm really, really pleased with that. So thank you all very much. Just going to wrap up a few bits. Hilary?
Here, just to remind us what commercial awareness is, this is the quote from Christopher Stokes that we saw earlier. So as you can see, it's, I don't think we need to repeat it. The students are going to get the slides, but just to remind you that of the important, I think this is far more important, isn't it, Charlotte? The sort of the top 10 tips.
So yeah, I'm just going to get them up. And as I say, you'll get a copy of these. Look, written applications, this is the context it will come up in. Assessment centres, interviews, of course, and just everyday networking. So 1, don't just recite the website content. You've got to go deeper than that. In other words, research the people, the firms much more deeply. Research deals and reported cases. Remind me to give you a top tip at the end of this slide about Little Law. Re-research just before your interview, so update your research. Self-awareness in group situations, really important. Are you letting others talk? Are you dominating? Consider other parties' points of views. Justify your statements, give authorities, give sources. Do the analysis, explain, go deeper. Answer the question, don't try and show off, and ask questions. Just before I move this on to the next slide, Hilary, whilst we looked at SWOT and whilst we looked at PESTLE, which go hand in hand, I also want to mention to you something called Little Law. It's worth looking it up. So many of you will have access, say, to the Financial Times to see what's going on. But if you don't, or you can't afford to subscribe to the FT, what Little Law does is kind of distills key stories of what's going on in the industry into snippets, and it's a free service, so I highly recommend it. Shout out for Little Law there. Hilary.
Yeah, so how can you carry on? How can you develop your commercial awareness, build on this webinar? Well, there's lots of various places that you can get some more information, obviously from careers service, from employers' websites. We've got lots of webinars that on this here at BPP. Getting that legal work experience is really important. I cannot stress the importance of you all knowing about the impact that legal tech is going to have on the business of lawyering going forward. I always say to students that I meet, this is going to be the single thing that is going to have the biggest impact on you. So go to any sort of webinar, any session about it, any conferences and courses, listen to podcasts, because very often now, I'm sure, Charlotte, you're all always asked, what should I be reading? What can I do before I start the course? What books would you recommend? And I say books and podcasts. So really important, lots of political ones, economic ones, obviously TV and radio and other media sources. That's come up now on the screen, the press and journalists, but even law work experience is valuable, because all businesses, need to be commercially aware, not just the business of lawyering.
Transferable skills, you mean?
Absolutely.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Personal reflection, social media, coming up in a minute, and competition. So doing as much as we can. And Dimitar at lawcareers.net has recommended their own commercial content connect podcast. So well done, Dimitar, for plugging for plugging that.
We've plugged BPP's free career events and development events.
Absolutely, yeah, I
So,
know, absolutely.
as we should,
It's a two-way.
as we should.
Yes, it's a two-way street. So lots of things out there. Just get into Google and look best podcasts or whatever. There's lots of really good stuff out there.
Yes, good. So look, hopefully we've covered this. What is commercial awareness? Just give us a why, as in a yes, if you think you've got a slightly better understanding, but really you've got to go off and do some work now. So we looked at some models, SWOT and PESTLE, and also tips just here at the end. And I think we had a good go at doing that negotiation. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Especially to, I've got to say, for the tenants, Alicia and Grace and Fizza. Thank you.
And I'm sorry, landlords, I wasn't able to join you. Technical difficulties, but thank you for your contributions. Okay.
Thank you very much, both. And yes, apologies for the technical issues, specifically to our landlords, but I think they still did an excellent job, as we saw in the chat. I've put in the link to BPP's excellent post-event doc. They'll also be available in the post-event email as well. There are more exercises in that handout that you can have a go at to practice your commercial awareness further, so make sure to check it out. Just to quickly wrap up, just a reminder to attendees, they will be sending out the link containing the recording session, so please keep an eye out for that. There will be a survey as well popping up, so please fill that out to let us know how you enjoyed today and what other topics you'd like to see us cover in the future. And again, remember to check out Law Careers.net's events page for all our other upcoming events. And thank you very much once again to our panelists and to everyone attending today. We look forward to seeing you again next time. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I've just put in there bpp.com/events. We've got all sorts of events, so just come and join us. And I mentioned something called Little Law, so you may want to look that up. It is a free service, I believe. So it's a good one to check out. Okay, been a pleasure. You've been really engaged, dear audience, so thank you.